Greetings, good afternoon, everybody. Adam Locke, president of the local nonprofit OptiMystics Citizens Action Network. Thank you, everybody, for attending our latest VIBE. VIBE, of course, stands for Very Important Business Engagement. We want to give, of course, thanks, as always, to the folks, Starl and the folks here at Stars and Strikes for allowing us to host our meeting again. I'll talk very briefly about the Optimistics. Then we're going to hear from our esteemed guest speaker today. It's Jeff Lycette. He is the vice president and senior Vice President and Chief Lending Officer for RG Bank. And we appreciate you coming out, Jeff, to talk to us. Afterwards, of course, we'll draw for door prizes, and then it's mingle time. Optimistics are, of course, the folks who host the, will be hosting the third annual Cinco de Mayo Street Festival downtown Friday, May 5th this year. And it reminds me we won't have a Vibe meeting that night, or that day. We'll be doing Cinco de Mayo instead. We're spearheading the creative and artistic bike rack projects around town, plus several other things. Check out our website for more, optimistics.org. There's a lot of information, pictures, and more. Please don't forget to fill out or put your name in the bucket for the door prizes. And I want to introduce, this is so cool, we have a mascot now, too. Thank you, Tiffany. This is awesome. So, isn't that adorable? Yeah, we even have adoption papers. So, our slogan, of course, connecting people, creating community. Our name was derived from two things. The Colorado Tourism Office has designated this the Mystic San Luis Valley. So that's where part of it comes from. The other is the general lack of optimism we ran into when we started. So we decided to be a positive, focused, get things done, go against the grain kind of organization, and that's what we do. We do things. Our intent with VIBE, of course, is to bring together business owners, managers, leaders in a semi-informal manner like this. We do a 15 to 20-minute presentation, an opportunity for you, of course, to ask questions and then network with your fellow people. Well, Mark, you're my only board member here today. Anything to say? No, nothing to add. All right, well, then I'll stop talking, and without further ado, Jeff Lycette. Thank you, Jeff.
So first of all, I'm just going to start out with some history of RG Bank, all right? So RG Bank has been serving the Valley since 1905. A couple years ago, we changed our name to RG Bank from Rio Grande Savings and Loans. Basically, it's to shorten the name and make it more viable with the bank, even though we still are a savings and loan. We currently have 4 members on our executive management team, which includes Sean Davis, Dan Baker, Daniela Anderson, and of course myself. We have a local board, which our chair is actually here, so a bit nervous. Mark. So what I want to explain about RG Bank to start with is how are we different than any of the other banks? And I'm going to pick on Wells Fargo because I worked for them. Wells Fargo is owned by who? Shareholders. So who does Wells Fargo concentrate on? Making a profit for who? Shareholders. RG Bank being a savings and loan, there's only 5 of them in Colorado. There's 3 across the valley. Basically, our focus is the community. So as we make profits, we can give to the community and do things for the community. And our members are the individuals that we're providing services to, but overall it's a community focus. And my experience, I started back in July, has been my clients love that we're community focused, love that we do face-to-face business. So a little bit about me. So I was born in Western New York State, close to where Adam was born. And so we just need Bob to join the group. So yeah, I was born in West New York State, graduated high school in 1988, joined the military, was in Desert Storm, got out of the military, and then I spent some time managing different businesses as a young man. And then I moved to Australia in 2000, and 2 years later, I fell into a banking position as a commercial lender with the Commonwealth Bank. Commonwealth Bank's the largest bank in Australia. So I got my first taste of banking was with a very large bank that was very much focused on shareholders, profit for the shareholders. 14 years later, I finished my banking career in Australia at a place called Rural Bank. Rural Bank was owned by a community bank called Bendigo Bank, and they had a community focus. Each branch had their own board, local board. So it was something I really enjoyed. Moved back to the United States and worked for Wells Fargo for 3.5 years. Once again, I realized, holy crap, big bank, I don't want to work for these guys. So I went and taught for 4 years. So I taught business and finance, and then I saw a position open up here in Colorado, small town, small bank. I thought it was going to be great, and it is. It's been fantastic. So my education, I've got an MBA in finance from the Australian Institute of Business, as well as a graduate diploma of management. But what I want to talk to you guys today is about different things like risk, economics, and those kind of things. But first, let's talk about risk. How do you protect your business from fraud? Okay, the bank, which we can do because we need to, but all emails coming into the bank are scanned by a company that we have scan all that stuff. Our networks are all monitored constantly by the same company to stop anybody from trying to break into our systems. Being a small business, how do you protect yourself with your computer? What have you done? Is your password on your network 1234? Believe me, I've seen it when I was in the Army. The password on our network is 1234. And I was a signals intelligence analyst. I wasn't real secure. But the same thing with your website. If you've got a website, who controls it? Do you have the password to protect your website so someone doesn't come in and mess with it? I've seen it happen. All of a sudden, there's nasty crap on the website. Well, guess what? In this day and age, what's one of the most important marketing tools you have? Is having a website. Because what do people do nowadays? They Google. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to Google, see what pops up, I mean, I even had a woman 2 days ago that's from South Carolina that's moving back to this way. Google. And we were the second ones on the list, and I answered the phone. So we're doing business with them. It's important to do those kind of things. Okay, let's talk about liquidity a little bit. Risk with liquidity. Do you understand what liquidity means as a small business owner? Liquidity is having enough cash to survive a downturn over an amount of time. It's something you probably should talk to your accountant about. But you should try to keep some kind of liquidity in your business. Because if all of a sudden you're making gadgets and the economy sinks, and your gadget business sinks with the economy, you want to keep yourself afloat until your gadgets start selling again. Another question for small business owners, do you pay yourself? Okay, are you making enough profit to pay yourself? You should be paying yourself. You're worth it. You went into small business not to have a boss and make your own money. And if you have employees, do you do background checks on them before you hire them? So that kind of covers some of the things I wanted to talk about when it comes to risk and pointing things out. And in the 17 years as a banker in Australia, in the United States, about 85% of my business customers, I ask that question because I don't see a wage being paid to themselves. It's great to avoid taxes and not pay as much, but you know what? Paying taxes is a sign of a successful business usually, because that means there's income that requires you to pay taxes. Okay, let's talk about our unique economy here in the Valley. Something I've realized by moving here, when I moved here, so I moved out of the Salt Lake Valley, right? Utah, booming tech industry and everything else. 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment runs $1,700 to $2,000 a month over there. Talk about being a school teacher. Yeah, wasn't nice. But I moved to the Valley and I was like, wow, $870 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath place. And I was like, oh, this got to be a dump. And I walked in, I was like, wow, extremely nice place. We're also good because of our agricultural around us. Some things that have happened because of the economy, potato prices have gone up. Your alfalfa and hay prices are up. All good for the valley, all good for small businesses. So we have a unique economy, you know. Housing prices, have they fallen? A little bit, some places, but they're still higher than they were 3 years ago. So the economy here is going well. So another thing, inflation. We've all seen the prices go up. In your small business, have you taken the time to look at your cost? Do you need to increase what you charge? I know at the bank we've had to do some stuff like that because the people we use to do certain things have tremendously lifted their cost for us to do business. And, you know, it stinks, but it's part of what the economy is currently doing. So make sure you're double checking your costs. Other things you need to think about. How do you market your business? What do you do? Where's the best place, boom, for your buck? Do you have a website? If not, you probably should look at doing one. You know, how do you protect yourself if you're doing online orders from fraud? You know, someone pays you, you ship, 2 days later, they're disputing it. You've already shipped. How do you protect yourself from that kind of thing? Yeah, so that's about all I had to say. Pretty short, sweet, but
Hang on.
hold off. Tell them it's 3 days. Tell them it's, because generally a transaction takes 3 days to clear, right? Tell them you don't ship until the 4th day. Unless they're giving you cash. But even then, you got to be careful. If they're doing a cash app or something, make sure you've got it and secured it before you send it. When I worked in Western Australia, I had a client that wanted to ship a bunch of, leather goods to China. And I didn't do the deal, but he told me about it. So he had a couple shipping containers set up at the dock, got on the boat was gone. Guess what? The Chinese instrument that they were using, you got a phone call and say, no, it's not valid. He lost $200,000 in leather goods that he shipped to China because he got scammed. So you just got to be careful. We don't have that big of a problem here with shipping overseas, but still dangerous. You know, and fraudsters like to try to steal. So yeah, just wait. You know, if they need it immediately, that's great. I want cash in my account.
So why should we have our accounts at RG Bank?
Because we're a community bank, and we focus on the community. Our profits are used for the community. You know, even with the downturn in home lending, which has happened, we haven't laid anybody off. We don't plan on laying anybody off. We want to keep our team together and keep them working. But it's about the community. And it's been like that since 1905. We're not owned by a major. We're not owned by a private person. You know, we're savings and loan. It's all about taking care of you. Go ahead.
So I am opening a small business downtown now.
Right.
What do you have straight up offer for small businesses at the moment?
You be honest. For deposit accounts, you need to talk to Chris. He does all of that stuff. That's another thing I've meant to mention around security. At the bank, I can look at your account balance and a little bit of your history. That's it. It's set apart security-wise. I don't need it. I'm a lending officer. I lend money. I need to see credit scores and what's going on with your loan. So it's very compartmentalized to keep that secure. You know, only certain employees have certain access to certain things. I mean, even Sean doesn't have full access to everything. And he doesn't want it. Neither do I. We've talked about it. No, I don't want all that access. Makes it more responsible. But yeah, go in and talk to Chris. He's our that opens accounts for us. And he can go through what we offer. Something that's unique from other places I've been. Other banks have charged for the night deposit. We don't. You just go, boom, put it in, make sure it goes in. You're not charged for a key or anything. It goes right into our safe, and the tellers get them out in the morning and put them in. So you don't have to worry about keeping cash at your premises.
Right.
If you don't want to, you can walk down the street, drop it.
Perfect. Would I need to have an account there to apply for a loan?
No.
Okay.
We prefer you have an account.
Well, sure, yeah, of course.
But no, I've got plenty of customers that home loans and stuff that have their accounts elsewhere. Yeah.
As far as a new business, you mentioned paying yourself. What is a reasonable time to start doing that or start looking at that?
If you've been in business for 10 years and you're not paying yourself,
But, yeah, but just
I mean,
starting out.
No, but I'm just saying that's what I've experienced.
Right.
And I've been like, wait, okay, yeah, you're paying tax on $6,000. Mm-hmm. You've done all this work for free. You know, whether it be a farmer, most of them were farmers that did that, but it would just be like, and I get the lifestyle and stuff like that, and a lot of living expenses can get put in there, but you should still be paying yourself something to show something for your work.
As far as looking at accounts with the business who's doing banking with you, is this something else that you guys offer? Can you come in or sit down with them and go, hey, look, this is looking good, this is not, you might want to adjust kind of thing?
Not really. I mean, I'm not an accountant.
Okay.
I got an MBA in finance, and I know a little bit. And generally what I would tell them is, hey, you need to talk to your accountant. I know it's great to not pay taxes, but in the long run, let's say you own a business, right? And I had this happen. I had a Chinese guy that owned a bakery in Australia, right? So he goes, oh, I'm going to sell my business. The building he was in, it was a mall, was being remodeled. So I got his tax returns for 3 years, and the first thing I saw was, every other business up there is struggling with the remodel. He did over $1 million in baked goods. Looked at his previous tax returns and went, So I called his accountant and said, can you explain? He goes, no. Because the guy was putting money in his pocket and not reporting it. So the thing is, if your ultimate goal is to run your business and then sell it and make money for retirement, you got to show a profit. You got to show it's lucrative, and it'll get you, and that's what the bank's going to look at. You know. Anybody else?
Are funds insured?
Yes, they're insured with the FDIC. They regulate us both in our lending and deposits, and we get examined about every 18 months. Yeah, but you're just starting your business.
Yes, but I also can't pay myself. I'm on Social Security.
Okay, well then, but that's different then.
Oh, okay.
Because you are actually getting paid. You're getting paid a Social Security check.
Well, what I meant was,
Yeah, but
I will pay myself for this.
yeah, because if you did, you'd be in trouble because you only can work so much part-time on Social Security. It's just like if my veteran's disability was 100% permanent, I wouldn't be able to work. Everyone's like, oh, you should get 100% permanent. I'm like, well, why would I do that? Because I can still work. I can make more money than when the VA is going to pay me. I got free health care from them, so. Yeah. Yeah, but your circumstances depict that, and that's different. For me, if I was running my own business, yeah, I would be wanting to pay for my time. And you're painting and stuff like that, and you'll get some commissions, and yeah. But I'm talking about, let's say you owned a clothing store, and you've owned it for 10 years, and you can't pay yourself a salary. Either your prices are too low, or you just don't have enough business to walk through the door.
Anybody else have any questions?
And a rule of thumb,
sorry.
but I'll just give you a rule of thumb of something. So I worked in the restaurant industry for years, okay? There's a formula. It's called 25% food cost, 25% employment cost, 25% overhead, 25% profit. That's what they should be working towards. And similar formulas for other businesses are out there.
I'm a manufacturer, and I design and build medical-related equipment for optometrists.
Right.
And I've introduced 3 new models that are probably the best the industry has ever seen, but I need some funding to cover the upfront costs of having components manufactured. How would I approach you to do that?
Come see me with your idea. Yep. Just walk in.
Well, I mean, I have functional prototypes, so really I'm going for a pre-release,
Right.
pre-production release.
So-
I want to build 1,000 units.
Come see me.
Come see you.
Yep. It's something we can sit down and talk about, look at.
Okay.
And,
Well,
you know, and
now
I may
this.
be able to direct you somewhere else that will help you more than I can.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because it's like I said, it's a new product. It doesn't have a track record, but
So I-
indications from talking with professionals, they love these things.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't mean they're going to buy them. Okay.
Because it depends on the expense.
Yeah. We need to keep the costs as low as possible and still make a viable product that's
Right.
going to
Yeah. But
bring
come talk to me.
a
Let's sit down
revenue
and talk
stream.
about it. Show me your plan. You know,
So-
give me an idea how much it costs to manufacture
Sure.
and how
Well,
much.
we can't do it here because there's no infrastructure here or a trained workforce to do
Yeah.
this. You know, they shipped that out of the country decades ago. So, you know, we have to outsource a lot of everything to other companies that are like in Denver and
Yeah, I
Los
had a friend
Angeles.
that was in Utah. He was out shipping most of his electronic work to China.
Yeah, well, almost everybody does it now.
He owned a factory in China.
Yeah.
So,
That's where the supply chains are. Can't get parts here.
yeah. Well, come
So-
see me. I'd love to sit down and talk to you
Okay.
about it. And, you know, if I can't tell you where to get the fund, if I can't do it myself, I can always direct you and give you ideas.
I get daily spam offering me $500,000. People want to
Yeah.
give me money.
No, come see me. Sit
And
down
it's just
with me,
robots, you know.
And
Okay.
let's talk about it and see how much you need. Make sure it's within our lending limit, because we're a
Yeah.
small bank. We only can lend so much to one person.
What would you think, what would be an upper end amount that you would be comfortable with
I
a
mean,
small business?
the highest we can lend is like around 1.8 to $2 million is really
Okay.
where we bump up against things.
Yeah,
But
but
I've
I
also
wouldn't
got
be- I wouldn't need
other
that
avenues
much.
if you go over that to work with other banks to like do it together,
Sure.
share the loan.
Anybody else?
Cool, thank you.
All right. All right. Good. All right. All right. Well, again, thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you coming out and talking to our group today. I do want to take a moment again, thank our gracious host, Stars and Strikes, here for letting us host our Vibe gathering. Another good example of networking. You know, if you're looking for a fun place to host an event, certainly talk to the people here. They'll sit down with you and come up with something special. Next Vibe meeting is April 7th at noon. Our special guest speaker, Larry Roberts, broker owner of Roberts Group Real Estate. We have a dynamic lineup of speakers throughout most of the rest of the year already done. Check our website again, OptiMystics.org, see what's going on, more information. And we invite you to attend any of our open meetings and bring your fellow business associates with you as well. It's time for door prizes and networking. Thank you, everybody.